Once upon a time, before the critical and financial success of The Witcher 3, there was The Witcher 2. Although The Witcher 3 does most things better than its predecessor, the sequel falls short in one area, and that is its main villain. Letho of Gullet, Witcher of the School of the Viper, cold and deadly. In the game, he gets tasked with killing northern monarchs in exchange for rebuilding his School of the Viper. Geralt ultimately gets caught up in the commotion, but what would happen in real life? Assassins are quite popular in games, especially medieval ones, and in this video, I will break down just how Letho's assassinations would really go. Now let's get started. First things first is Letho himself and his Viper School companions. It helps as there is a group of them, which helps them accomplish more tasks quickly. A group also works well in information gathering. However, even more so, it helps that they all have lifetimes of training, especially in knives and poisons, plus they would have funding by Emir. First up is King Demavend. This probably wouldn't change as his death would immediately cause surrounding monarchs to quarrel, and he's physically the weakest. That being said, it is extremely unlikely Letho would single-handedly ambush and overwhelm Demavend. In real life, Letho would probably gather that Demavend likes to drink and feast. Letho would most likely poison him whoever he knows to be the king's share. Next, I believe the Viper School would move on to Radovid of Verdania, as Radovid is also the biggest threat to Emir. Radovid himself is still progressively maddening from being a cult leader. Ultimately, the School of the Viper would see Vizmir's death and look to emulate that assassination. At the dead of night in Tretogor, the assassins would look to strike. That being said, it was easier to assassinate a leader in the Middle Ages. The castles were laid out easier for sneaking, especially if you had disguise. Letho would succeed by assassinating him with his dual knives in the dead of night. The castle is put on red alert. The group manages to escape, however. This assassination would come at the cost of the North knowing Kingslayers are about. The Viper School Witchers would then be looking to ally themselves with the Scoia'tael. Their new allegiance would likely be partly their undoing for this assassination, as the squirrels are always being hunted and can't leave their woods for very long. I also don't think they would ally themselves with a lodge of sorceresses, as it would also be crossing the benefactor they need to rebuild the school. For Foltest's situation, we must speak more about Letho's mentality, as he is really the leader of this entourage.
See the commander? Name's Imlerith. I remember him from back when I rode the hunt.
Damn it. Spell's waning. We're becoming visible.
We're gonna try to kill him.
Too risky.
Pansy.
Long story short, Letho's a guy who sees opportunity in chaos, and doesn't back down even when the odds don't look good. This would be present as he would truly choose to strike in the commotion at the siege of La Valette Castle. Now, dressing up as a religious figure for an assassination is not unheard of, either in the past or the present, and probably not in the future either. But in this case, Letho would probably not attempt to. Letho isn't stupid, and it would be stupid to attempt to, as there would be no telling when and how he would come into contact with Foltest, even near his own children. Letho would likely attack while most of the army is distracted. He would likely attack alone, not wanting to draw attention. Letho would likely strike while Foltest is talking to some of his men, as they engage with the La Valettes. The assassin, however, would be unsuccessful. Since unable to pretend to be soldiers, Letho would strike a fully armored opponent. And in that split second, Foltest's personal guards descend upon him. Unlike most works of art, blades don't penetrate armor. Blunt weapons like a mace damage armor. And to kill a knight, it usually took a group of men wrestling him to the ground and stabbing him through his slit. Letho may kill a few, but at this moment, he is lightly armored and lightly equipped, and would be killed. Despite being more on the run than ever, the remaining Witchers would look to slay Hensel, giving up on Foltest for now. The Scoia'tael units would cover their escape, but banish them after that, in fear of bringing too much heat. Hensel would still be fighting Edirn, not thinking much of the Witcher assassins. The assassins would not use the underground cave system, and instead go in at night as Hensel's tent is right along the beach. Going in under the faint moonlight, the assassins would dispatch the small patrol along the beach. The beach would be lightly guarded, as they don't see how Saskia would attack the rear unnoticed. Hensel's army would probably be overconfident from the situation as well. Cutting a hole in the tent, they would kill him, by strangling, as was custom in the Renaissance, and to not be too apparent. They would manage to escape, but the entire North would be looking for them. all militaries and bounty hunters. The Vipers would then be cornered like rats. Amir would also cut them loose, as he would not want to unite the North by letting them know he's helping the Kingslayers. Unable to really go anywhere, one of them would likely strike a deal, as they are not religious zealots and do fear death. All of them would fight, and one would be left standing, likely the one that betrayed the group. The Viper School Witcher would go back expecting clemency, but he would still be executed, likely through hanging and castration. That would be the end of the Viper School. This has been an analysis of Letho's Assassinations from The Witcher 2. Obviously, I think that it would be different in real life. I also was not including Geralt's story, but that would have made Foltest's death that much harder. This has been Ryan from Live the Game. Please like and subscribe for more content. Remember to live the game.